they don't judge distance properly, meaning you'll pull out in front of a car. So my job as your instructor is to calm you down, is to tell you what to do. And good instructors are patient, they're kind, they tell you what you're doing wrong. They're always trying to help you get better. And once you realize that that's my role, then you're going to excel. You're going to do your best. My job is to get you ready for the state examination. And a state examination, if you're 15, it'll be when you're about 16 and a half. If you're 16, it will be when you're about 17. It takes about 6 months if you're 16 to get ready for your driving test. And that's the goal of any driving school, is to get you ready for your driving test. And it takes a lot of preparation. It takes work from your parent. It takes work from your guardian. If your parent or guardian doesn't take time to teach you, you're going to fail your driving test. As simple as, maybe you didn't see the sign that said no right turn on red. You turn right on red, you failed your test. I don't want that to happen to you, but sometimes students make those very simple mistakes that are very frustrating to a parent. I took off work. I cleaned the car. I got a new registration. So all of you need to be absorbing this. You need to be typing your question in, and you need to realize that this is the first step toward adulthood. Driving does not make you an adult. I want to say that again. Driving does not make you an adult. It's one of those things that are a step toward adulthood. Graduating from high school, that's the next step toward getting a productive job. Going to college. For some of you will go to college, but you may have to drive to college, okay? Or if you are scared of driving and have anxiety, which a lot of people are, you might wait till you're 20, 24, 25. So everyone is a little bit different. Plus, driver's education costs a lot of money. So there are various reasons why young adults like yourself don't take driver's ed. But for many of you, this is kind of a smack in the face, because you have some responsibility to fulfill, and I need you to understand your goal. And I've been blessed to be in this position, but occasionally students do fail. They fail because they don't plan properly. They make a mistake during the examination and fail. They fail the knowledge test. What I do as your instructor, I have digital games that I have set up to help you scale. We did not get the chance to do that yesterday because we used an hour to schedule. So what I'm going to do is wait till the end of class. I'm going to tell you what I have, and I'm going to get you scheduled, because I want to be as efficient as possible. And I really enjoy that parents are listening, your guardians are listening, because it takes a lot of work to go ahead and move forward. Mrs. Loveland, call me in about a half an hour and we'll take care of that, okay? I can't drive on that date. I did send you a text. Did you receive that? If you did, give me a thumbs up, okay? So we'll have to reschedule that, and I'm always open and clear. And okay, we'll call me about half an hour. So it's really important, because I have things I have to do as a teacher, as a parent, and so this is why we have, 6 weeks to schedule you. So I've learned over the years to plan, to prepare, and to really be my best authentic self for you. We're driving 6 in the morning. That's a big commitment. Some of you don't want to get up. Some of you do want to get up. And those of you who do want to get up, you're going to be rewarded getting done early. So you have to make that commitment. Just like I made that commitment for you, you'll make that commitment for me, and then we'll talk later. And like I said, we'll schedule during the last half an hour of the class, because it's my responsibility to move the class and get it forward. So I'm going to go ahead and answer your driving related questions, because this is what good teachers do. They open the class up for discussion, they answer questions, and then we have to move forward through the curriculum, because that's what you're here for. So let's go ahead and be happy, and let's read some of these questions right now, and let's all learn. So I'm going to go back up to the top. If you have questions, put those in. Online practice tests are good for the knowledge test. There's some other digital tests that you can take, to give you an in-car perspective, a 3D perspective. I know an instructor in another state. He and his mother run a driving school. They do a lot of in-car driving on social media. It's very helpful. But those clients are adults, you're teens, and a 21-year-old, 35-year-old, 40-year-old acts different than a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old. But we all learn from watching people in a car. You should be watching your mom and dad when they drive. You should be asking questions. If you're sitting in the back of the car, you're not really learning how to drive. You should be sitting up front. Mom, why did you not run that light? Well, honey, I can stop in 3 seconds. And if I can stop in 3 seconds, we don't have to run a light. Good thing, honey, the police right across the street. Mom would have got a ticket. Oh, mom, why did you go through that yellow light? Well, honey, the light just changed yellow, the intersection. If I would have slammed brakes, I would have got hit. You have to learn this. And if you don't, you're going to run through yellow lights and get hit or cause an accident. And it's going to be your fault. Driving in the rain. We had a lot of rain today. Many of you did very well. Some of you were very dangerous because you were moving too fast. My job as your teacher is to educate you, and then your parents will educate you. It takes a community to educate you, and that's what I'm about. So we asked everyone to put their first name and last name and date of birth. I see that. That's how I'm going to take attendance, and I'm going to move forward. So I'm answering questions. You type them in. Whatever time you need to be here, that's fine. We started at our normal time, and you're good. How do I know which lane to turn into? Um, Most states in the United States have pavement markings. You'll see a big arrow on the ground. If you have to go straight, you'll see a long arrow and it'll point straight. If you're in a turn lane, you'll see an arrow on the ground, a big arrow that they paint, and it will turn right. Also above you, you'll see a sign that has an arrow, or on the telephone post. Very honest question. So you need to learn how to read pavement markings. You need to learn how to read road signs. All of you know how to read. Most of you know how to read because most of the signs are set up at about a fifth grade reading level, if you didn't know that. So most of you can read, and the general public is reading about a fifth to seventh grade reading level. So there are reflective signs that reflect headlights. So in the fog, rain, or snow, you're going to have those road signs and pavement markers that reflect. So most of you know how to drive in your neighborhood because you've grown up there. You know to how to drive around the block. But what if you go in another part of your neighborhood where you've never been? Well, I kind of know where I am, but I kind of don't. So that's where you're going to have to start looking for landmarks. Hey, I live by a golf course. Hey, I live by a high school. Hey, I live by the Mustang factory. So you're going to start having to learn landmarks. So that may happen with your instructor. It should be happening with your instructor. It should be happening with your mom. It should be happening with your dad. So you can't just sit on your phone in your car. Unfortunately, that's what many of you do. You sit on the phone in the car because in society we have things to keep our attention. When do you first go on the highway? It really depends on the student. I try to take students on around the fifth or fourth drive. Everyone is different. In most schools today, they have anywhere from 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours of driving. Um, I have a question about a older person driving. I think the older you get, in general, you tend to hesitate. Like, for instance, swimming. Most of you know how to swim. If a person almost drowned at, say, 15, they're not going to want to get in the water again. Maybe their family members have a pool. Hey, let's go over to Uncle John's house. No, I don't want to go. He's got a pool party. He's going to have steaks and ice cream and, fruit salad. And we're going to play in the pool. No, I don't want to go. Or, hey, we're going to, a water park. So many of you have anxiety, which is normal. So everyone is a little bit different. Around 16 to about 21, you should be trying to get your license. On to 24, you should be almost out of school, moved out of your home, maybe in an apartment. You get what I'm saying. Now you want to start paying for your own bills, right? Around 27 or 28, maybe you're looking for someone to settle down with. So there are things you have to hit. Like high school, you should be done at 17 or 18. 19-year-olds don't go into high school unless they failed English 9 or English 10. Okay. 20-year-olds don't go into high school unless there's an issue. So they're not 15-year-olds in middle school. You understand what I'm saying for this because you're too old. So around 21 years old, you time out of high school, okay, because you're too old. And then you'll go to adult ed. I think confidence is really important. And I'm a very confident and energetic person, and I'm going to give you that energy. But many of you will just sit there and be quiet, and that's fine. That's who you are. But I'm a very positive, outgoing person. I think people who teach driver's ed are police officers, our driver's ed instructors, our school teachers, our military people, our bus drivers, because we like dealing with the general public. A lot of people hate kids. I'll be honest. You don't listen. You don't follow directions. You think you're an adult. So a lot of those things, a lot of adults don't like kids and they don't want to be with you. And then they shouldn't be teaching, or they shouldn't be in education. So that's something that you need to know because you want to be treated like an adult, but act like one. Come in on time. Don't smoke. Pay attention. Dress appropriately. Have your test ready to go. So some of you will do these things, some of you won't. When you're listening to instructions, look at the person, make eye contact. But if you're looking away, okay, I got it. I know what to do. When a teen tells an adult they know what to do and then they're not doing it, this tells me, well, this kid doesn't understand. They don't want to listen. Your attitude has to be when someone is trying to teach you how to drive or teach you a skill trade. So you really have to listen and you have to keep it real. So going on the highway, drive 4, drive 5. The minimum time is going on 4 times. I go past the minimum because I'm better. I'm going to give you an honest review. I like to go in 6 times, 8 times, 10 times. You're going to have to practice merging on. Most beginning drivers go too slow. You should be writing this stuff down because it's going to help you for your test. We're going to be going over information. We're going to go over day 1. I'm not worried about scheduling right now because we need to go over day 1 and day 2. I'll schedule in the end. So mentally preparing is good. Everyone is a little bit different. The reality is beginning drivers go on too slow. They merge on too slow. You should be about 60 coming out. You're at 30. You're at 40. When you're making a lane change, you look too long and the car goes off the road. So the instructor has got to turn the wheel, which is very scary for them and scary for you. Or you turn on the wrong blinker. If we're merging out to the left, you turn on your right blinker. And you put your foot on the brake when it should be on the gas. And if you don't meet those minimum requirements, you won't pass. The thing I've learned, you don't lie to the students. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to your parent. If you're not meeting those qualifications, I will tell you. And then most of the time, they leave it up to an instructor. Okay, give them a couple more lessons. So this is why good instructors communicate to their parents. Is the test insanely hard? The test is hard for students who don't prepare. But because I'm an instructor that I have proprietary learning modules, meaning I make my own custom test up, I prepare you for the test. And if you don't study, then you will fail the test. The failure rate is about 3 to 5%. If you can't read the questions, you don't understand the questions, you second guess the questions, that's the biggest thing that a lot of students, let's say out of 20, maybe 4 could fail the test. I have a very high pass rate because we do a lot of test prep. We do a lot of quizzes, Kahoots, buckets. Students usually like that. As an instructor, I like quizzing. Now I can leverage AI teaching. If you missed question number 25 about a road sign, I can see that 25 kids missed it. Okay, I need to go over road signs. Or there's a question about a 4-way stop. Most beginning drivers don't understand 4-way stops. They think a stop is a yield and a yield is a stop. If you don't stop at a stop sign, that is a moving violation. You'll fail your test. I've never got a moving violation because I will stop, whether the police are there or the police are not. Many of you were driving with me, and guess what? We saw a police car sitting off to the side. You're all like, oh, that's what I'm trying to tell you. But many of you get very casual. Okay, so the police presence is much greater today. There's some things coming down the line that I don't want to say in public, but they're monitoring all of us. Smart car technology assess that. They're monitoring your speed. They're monitoring how hard you brake. Your phones are monitoring you in your car. This is what's happening in the next 3 to 5 years. The test is not hard if you prepare. It's driving situations. It looks like that's all the questions I have. I need more questions. So it says new message. All of you put in more questions. Let's put those questions in. Go ahead and put some more questions in, please, and thank you. All right, so we're talking about preparing for the road test. You have to be prepared. You got to listen to your instructor. You have to ask questions. Guys, go ahead and put in some more questions. I think everyone to put in one more question. Okay, this is how you learn. And there has to be a shared effort. It can't be for me. And it's just for me, you won't learn because you're going to sit here and mentally you're just going to tune out. That's what all of us do. But if you're an active student who sits up front in class, who takes good notes, who asks questions, you're going to learn more. So you have to decide, what type of student am I going to be? What type of driver am I going to be? Am I going to be an average driver? Oh, I got into an accident. Um, I got lost in downtown and I didn't see the light changing and I rear-ended a car. Everyone was okay, but I got the ticket. Some people do have a lot of accidents. Some people don't. So we have to look at the positive. And many times it's just paying attention to your surroundings. How do you know when it's a safe time to make a turn? When traffic clears. That's a very good question first. Traffic, you have to yield to traffic. And beginning drivers, what do? They don't understand what a yield is. Yield means you slow down and wait for traffic to clear. The best example I can give you, you're in school. You have to walk across the hallway to your chemistry teacher's class. You're waiting or yielding for the hallway to be clear so you can walk across without cutting someone off. When you're making a left turns are the most dangerous. You have to have your wheel straight. I'm giving you questions and answers for your test right now. Little do you know, when you're making a left turn, you keep your front wheel straight. You're yielding for traffic to go by. Once it's clear, you turn hand over hand into the nearest lane by the double yellow. But what if there are 3 left turn lanes? Whatever lane you're in, if you're in the inside left turn lane, you make that inside left turn lane. If you're in the middle left turn lane, you turn in the middle left turn lane. If you're in the far right left turn lane, you go into that lane. Many beginning drivers turn in the wrong lane, and that's an automatic failure on your test because that is a dangerous maneuver. We practice these every day. I'm preparing you for the test. Is parallel parking hard to learn? It is hard to learn because if you don't understand the process and the steps, you're going to constantly make the wrong mistake. Your car will be too far out or too far in, encroaching on the cones, and you won't pass your road tests. I have good friends who are, you guessed it, road testers because I'm a state certified instructor. I talk to them every day. They tell me the common things that people fail on. 1, failure to yield. 2, speeding. 3, running through red lights. So if you learn to be kind of lazy, not really paying attention, blowing yellow lights, making that turn just before you're going to get lazy and not watch out. How long does it take for you to get comfortable driving? In the beginning, it takes about 6 to 12 months. But in order to become a master driver, it takes 10 years. You're saying, what? 10 years? The answer is yes. Because in order to become, let's say I want to be a master piano player. It's going to take me 10 years. Let's say I want to become a master teacher. It's going to take you 10 years. I want to be a master instructor. I am a master driver's ed instructor because I have a route. We start in the school parking lot. We go down the parking lot. We make right turns. We go up the parking lot. We make left turns. What am I doing? I'm teaching you to look. Many of you won't look when you're making turns. If I'm making a left turn, I'm turning the wheel and I'm looking. You see me looking now. If I'm making a right turn, you see me turning and looking to the right. You won't look when you're driving and you will miss pedestrians walking by. And when you make a right turn and a bicyclist is coming by, it's a right hook. Okay? Because you don't look, You turn right, you just ran over a pedestrian. You just ran over a bicyclist. When you're making a left turn, if you don't look to the left and see the sidewalk and the crosswalk, you're going to make a left turn. It's called the left cross, where you run over someone because you didn't scan the whole intersection. So I need you to, understand those questions, and I'm preparing you for the test. I'm preparing you for the next segment. So you have to practice parallel parking in your home. You have to set up some cones. In many states around the country, if you can't parallel park or stall park, you won't pass your test. It depends on your mom and dad. If your mom and dad are always screaming at you, yelling at you, you're not going to feel comfortable learning how to drive. Then it's going to take you longer. When is it safe or unsafe to have? When is it safe or unsafe time to have your brights on? It's not. It's time of day in a situation. If it's really dark outside and there are no cars around, you turn on your bright lights so you can see. When it's dark outside, but there are a lot of cars around you, you turn off your bright lights so you don't blind other drivers. So if you don't know that, you're going to drive with your bright headlights on, blinding other drivers. And here's the test tip. You've got to look to the right. The edge line or fog line is what you look at in case you're blinded. When the light turns green, do you want a second or two in case someone blows the light? Yes. Defensive driving. When the light turns green, you look left. A truck ran the light. You look right. A jogger ran through the light because they have the little earphone things in. You have to look. More and more people are driving distracted. They're on the phone. They're eating sandwiches. They're not paying attention. They're doing personal grooming. They're dashboard dining, meaning they're eating a full meal on their dashboard and they should be focusing on driving. The four-way stops are very important. People blow four-way stops. I've sat there and we've counted about 10 cars out of 20 not stopping at stop signs. If we were police officers, that's 10 tickets for the county. That's 10 tickets for the state. A simple 3-second stop. If you see mom blowing stop signs, dad blowing stop signs, uncle blowing stop signs, you're like, I don't have to stop. And then you get a ticket and then you want to cry. Do the right thing. Have a complete stop. When you parallel park, how do you know when you are changing directions? You have to look over your shoulder, and in some cases, you can use your backup camera. I teach my students to look out the back window because your eyes are the best backup camera. We do practice parallel parking. What should you see in your rearview mirror? I love the question. You want to frame the rear window in the mirror. When you're driving and your instructor helps you set up the seat, you want to have your hands, your arms at a 90-degree angle. You want to have your knee bent. You want to be able to cover the brake, cover the gas. You should be able to frame the rear window. You adjust your mirror so you frame the rear window in the mirror. So I should see you looking up, just like I'm looking, and checking behind you. Many of you want to adjust your mirror properly. You come in first. The first thing you do is put on your seatbelt. The second thing you do is you want to adjust your seat. Then you adjust your mirrors. So if you get in this pattern, you're always going to do it because one day you're going to be backing out of your driveway and you're going to run over a little kid because you didn't look out of your back window. I think a lot of us get really comfortable. Oh, my mom's got a 2024. My dad's got a 2021. You get comfortable looking out of your backup camera, but you don't see the little bicycle to the right. You don't see the little toy to the left, and you run over a kid. So you have to learn to look out of your back window. Many of your parents have very tall vehicles. There are 4 blind spots on the left side, on the right side, and the front and back. So if you get comfortable just hitting the gas, backing out real fast, you're going to hit a car behind you because you didn't see it. You could hit a car going down the street because you didn't see it. You could hit a kid because you didn't see them. So you really got to be aware in your neighborhood because why? We get very comfortable. We speed. We take off our seatbelt. Then we are not paying attention. We know, hey, I'm 6 houses from my house. I'm hungry. Mom texts me. We're having fried chicken. I'm so excited. I'm hungry. And then you just ran over someone because you saw toys in the street, but you didn't think. You saw a basketball in the street, but you didn't think. You're just thinking about your food. More people have accidents 25 miles or less away from home than any place else. So it's extremely important. How do you know when to turn in a roundabout, what lane you need to enter? Well, it depends on where do you need to go. Do you need to go into the roundabout and make a left? You need to go in before, turn on left turn signal. Go in, get into the left turn lane, go into the inside and go around. Well, I need to make a right. Well, you go up, you yield, you check traffic. Traffic is in there, you yield, you slow down. You let them go by, then you go around to the right. So you need to know, where am I going first? If you don't know where you're going, you could run into a car. You don't want to back up in the roundabout. There are big trucks in the roundabout. Everyone loves chicken. What do you consider a blind spot? Well, you need to know what a blind spot is. There are four. I don't have my model semi truck here. I do have one upstairs. There are four blind spots. There's one to the left. There's one to the right. There's one in the front. There's one in the back. All vehicles have blind spots. And if you don't know what blind spots are as a beginning driver, this tells me you're not reading. This is why we give you time in class to read. Some of you are playing video games. Some of you are texting your friend. You're not putting time in. So don't be afraid of an online class. Online class requires more work from you, not your instructor. You should be working harder than me. I like the questions because now we're getting into questions about thinking, and I understand what you're going. So I'm going to continue. As long as you have your hours, as long as you have your time, you are the maker. The session is set. I'm not going to vouch for anyone who's here. They're going to look at the timestamps. Okay, and that's the good thing about a class. Some of you are here for a makeup, and if you don't make up your time, you'll be in here again. So you don't have to let me know, hey, it's time for me to go. You just, hey, you came in. I like the questions. They're starting to get more in depth. We talked about parallel parking. We talked about roundabouts. We talked about on the freeway. We talked about stops and lights turning green. People do run lights. We talked about bright lights, or your brights. When do you use them? When it's really dark. You don't use them when you're around a lot of cars. The rule is about 500 feet. Okay, if you turn your bright lights on before 500 feet, you're going to blind the other driver, and that's selfish. But some of you will do that because you're selfish. You're only thinking of yourself. We all need help. We all need an opportunity to get to the next step. And people will help you if you show that you're willing to be taught and willing to be coached. Many people who act like they want to know don't know, and then no one really helps you. Being comfortable is a generic term. When you're comfortable making YouTube videos, when you're comfortable making TikToks, when you're comfortable Instagram Reels, when you're comfortable on Facebook Live, when you're comfortable talking to a people of 25. It depends. So that's kind of a generic. Some people love talking in front of people. Some people are very scared to talk in front of people. Why do you think they have public speaking in high school? Why do you think they have public speaking in college? Because that's a skill, that's an art. You need to be able to speak to people and get your message across. Because if you can't, then you won't be able. Can you drive under prescriptions? The answer is talk to your doctor and ask them questions. Will this medication make me drowsy? Will this medication not allow me to focus? Your doctor will be able to say, yes, you're okay to drive. I will not drive in the evening. Or yes, you're okay to drive. Just be aware. So by me not being a doctor, but me being a driver's education instructor, teaching students who are on medication, I can give a recommendation, but your doctor will have that final recommendation. If this is helpful to you, subscribe.